What's up, everyone? It's Tuesday night. It is time to talk waiver wire here. Oh, yeah. I kind of look like Dracula. This wacky hair, and it's Halloween. That could have been my costume. All right, we're going to try to fix that. Adam Azer, Dan Schneider. What's up, Dan?
How's it going, man? At least this time you finally early on admitted who has the better hair by
I didn't admit that.
Your own. Well, not in those exact words, but close enough for me.
You could never look like Dracula. That's the thing. Like, you couldn't even pull this off.
Do I want to look like Dracula? Was that a good thing? You never know.
Once a year, you might. All right, we're going to answer your questions here. We had a lot of trades today. That was fun. We had I'm going to check the headlines, make sure I didn't miss anything here. I've been setting my waiver claims for about 45 minutes, and I'm not done yet.
Yeah, that's when you know it's getting too much.
It's crazy, and I want to get a little Jeff Wilson in my life. I'm going to put some Isaiah Likely claims in there, but you don't want to put too much fab on him because Mark Andrews might play.
Right.
I saw Michael Gallup available in a pretty deep league, so make sure when you're doing your waiver claims tonight, especially if you're on a CBS Sports league or any league, don't just look at the projections. Try to look at the most rostered players and the free agents, and then you might get a guy like Gallup, who's not that he's great or anything, but this happens to be a league where a guy like Gallup has to be rostered. But there are some players who are going into their bye you might want to add that you're not going to see in the projections. 6 teams on bye, a lot of that's going to happen. All right,
I made my best claims in all my CBS leagues by doing that. So just for those who don't know, you can go players, roster trends, and then sort by most rostered, and that's the way to do it. That's how you can see like those players who fell through the cracks.
Yeah. All right, I want to wait for a few more people to arrive here before we get into your thoughts on the trades. So let me answer a few questions here. Singletary for Deontay Johnson. So now they bring in Nyheim Hines. Would you trade Singletary for Deontay? This is very relevant.
Very relevant.
Looks like a bench piece for you in Singletary. What would you do here?
I don't have much faith in Deontay Johnson rest of season, especially because no quarterback has a lower EPA on targets 10+ yards, which is not even 20+, 10+ than Kenny Pickett this year. So he's really struggling to push the football downfield. But having said that, Deontay Johnson at least proven he can be a fantasy contributor. Singletary has proven that, but now he has so much more competition there with Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines is going to get on the field. Zach Moss hasn't played in each of the last 2 games. They didn't trade for Nyheim Hines to just bench him and make him a healthy scratch. So I think you should do this deal.
Yeah, me too. I think this is really, one of the big winners and probably one of the big losers. I don't think you trade for Hines without giving him the passing downs role. If Devin Singletary doesn't have the passing downs role, then he's really not going to be very good for you most weeks. And Deontay, they lose the guy who's second on the team in targets.
Right.
So that's no small deal. It should help Deontay Johnson. I would do it. Someone in my league dropped Cordarrelle Patterson. I'm wondering how much fab. Yeah, I'd spend all 40.
All 40?
I'd spend all 40. 40 out of 100 left. Would you?
I don't think so. I do like that he gets to rejoin that Falcons off. What?
Why not? Come on. He's going to be a starting running back.
You don't think that role will change at all with what Algier and Huntley have shown? Like, they haven't been bad. Algier has. Algier's been pretty bad. I take that back. But Huntley has been pretty effective.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, because like Huntley's a guy that I'm considering adding in a few leagues. And Patterson comes back, I don't want him. But also, he's not the main guy. He got 2 more carries last week than Algier, but the week before it was pretty much all Algier. So they go back and forth there.
Right.
No, and I still think the way they run their offense, Huntley could still have a role of 10 to 12 carries or something like that, and Patterson could still get 15 to 16.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, they've proven they're going to run the ball almost no matter what. So that's
I would go get him. And you got to drop James Cook.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I have Swift and Sanders. Should I keep Singletary as my flex or sub him for Jamal Williams this week?
Jamal Williams for me, for sure. Jamal Williams had a ton of touches inside the 10. I mean, Jamal Williams is going to be utilized in a role that is going to make DeAndre Swift owners or managers really disappointed and really frustrated. But that's good for you if you have Williams, because I think he can be a good flex for you.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift said he was not healthy. He's not 100% yet.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's going to be 100% this week either. Should I drop Brian Robinson for Jeff Wilson?
I think definitely.
You think so?
There has to be a point this season where Washington turns the offense more over to Gibson. Like, he's so much more effective than Robinson. When you watch the tape, you see it. He's a more explosive runner. I guess, look, he doesn't read the run keys the same way Robinson does, and Ron Rivera wants to put a big, a premium on that. But Robinson doesn't have much juice, man. So I think you can drop Robinson. I don't see the upside there.
What do you think about Mostert and Wilson?
Well, I think it goes back to what you've been saying all year, Adam. Like, when will this ball drop with Raheem Mostert, right? He's been one of the more injury-prone running backs over the last few years. He's been healthy this year. He's made it this far, but that ball could drop. And if it drops, Jeff Wilson is going to be a really good play for you. I mean, all they have behind is like Ahmad. And you knew kind of when they traded, at least I thought when they traded Edmonds, there was going to be another move for the Dolphins. They were going to bring in a different running back, just the way that McDaniel comes from that San Francisco system. He wants multiple backs in there. And so I think there's a chance that Wilson could have a big role even with Mostert in there as well. So I do like Wilson. He's one of my priority pickups for the week.
All right. Is it worth stashing Justin Fields and Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins to prevent my league from using them?
No, I don't know. It depends how big your bench is. If you have some kind of insano big bench, then yeah, fine. Or if you have one of those leagues that allows like players who are just out to go on IR, like all they have to do is have the O next to their name, then yeah, go ahead, load it up for the week-to-week basis. But I feel like you're going to end up, if it's not one of those leagues, you're going to end up using too many bench players on quarterbacks.
Yeah, I would leave Watson on waivers right now. I think it's, week 13 that he comes back. So you're still a ways off. I'd leave him on waivers. I'm in the podcast league, the original 14-team podcast league. My first two picks were Jonathan Taylor and Keenan Allen. So you can imagine, I think my third pick was Cortland Sutton. So I'm 1-7. And I sent a note and I said, this is my last week where I'm going to be accepting any trade offers, where I'm going to be willing to, if I lose, The
desperate ploy from the desperate manager. I love when that happens.
Said, give me 2 starters for Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. Send me your offers. And I just got 2. I got one was McLaurin and Dawson Knox. That's a no.
Disgusting.
One, what was the last one? Michael Pittman and Deontay Foreman.
That's at least reasonable.
Oh, I'd have to give up Jeff Wilson too for Jeff
come
Wilson.
Come on. I don't hate the Pittman Foreman one. I don't really like Pittman as the piece though. There needs to be a better receiver piece, but I do kind of like Foreman. But
like McLaurin and Foreman, I think maybe I'd be more in on, but sure. I'd probably not. All right, so we got 124 people here, so let's talk about the trades a little bit here, and also the poll. One food must go. Which do you pick? Pizza, pasta, tacos, or burgers?
Oh, this is so easy.
It's easy?
So easy.
I guess it's pasta.
Of course it's pasta. There's not even this. Why is it? Thomas, you got to do a little bit of a better job. You got to throw a fourth thing in that's at the level of tacos, pizza, and burgers. Like, come on, my man. Like, throw in steak. You want to throw in like a nice ribeye steak?
Some people might want to have the option of eating something that's not,
meat.
So bad. Meat or like so
bad for you. Pasta's horrific for you. It's just terrible carbs.
Yeah, but so is everything else there. I mean,
a burger could be argued as better for you than pasta, I think.
A burger?
Yeah,
a red meat with what cheese on it? No.
You don't have to throw cheese on. If you just have a burger, my dad and mom eat burgers without a bun, without cheese. Like that's definitely healthier.
Explains a lot. Explains. Excuse me. You think red meat is healthier than pasta?
I think a pure burger, if you just season it with regular like rub or regular
You're
seasoning.
You're putting a bun on it, right?
No, I'm saying no bun.
Oh, that's not a burger. That's a patty of meat.
I'm telling you, that's how some people eat burgers. They try to eat healthier. They eat burgers like that. But either way, even if you put the bun on, it's still probably healthier because we're going to put on the pasta. You got to put Parmesan cheese. Some people put butter and parm. Some people put red sauce. Red sauce is terrible for you.
I got a question. If I just ate cheese and red sauce, would I be eating pizza?
No.
Then I'm not eating a burger if I don't eat the bun. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Let's see. So, Nyheim Hines. What do you think about Nyheim Hines?
Hines is an interesting one with this deal. I feel like, okay, it's weird to me because they already had what should have been the role. That role should have been occupied by James Cook. Obviously, if they're trading for Hines, they don't feel comfortable yet putting Cook out there. Why could that be the case? Pass protection. That's the number one thing, right? You take a rookie back. He doesn't know your system perfectly. He may not know the pass checks pre-snap. Josh Allen there might even been some situations. I haven't seen all the film, but there might even been some plays on film where they had Cook in there. They tried to make a check pre-snap, Josh Allen, and he didn't pick up the blitz the way they wanted him to. So now you have Hines in who you can trust to make those, to pick up the blitz and to be a consistent player on those passing downs. So I think Hines will kind of operate in a bigger role than he did with the Colts, even because he's going to take all the passing down work. And I think this really is a negative to James Cook, who I thought was a nice piece for the second half, a little lottery swing. And now I feel like I'm totally out on Cook.
All right. If you guys have any questions about the trades, please feel free to ask. I'm going to try to read as many of your questions as we can. Please hit the like button. We'd appreciate that. Who's a better keeper for 2023? Calvin Ridley, now with the Jaguars, or DJ Moore?
Oh, it's interesting because we know the quarterback situation with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence, no matter what. With the Panthers, it's so open-ended right now because they're winning football games with PJ Walker, which could put them out of position to get a quarterback in the draft. So will it be PJ Walker rerun next year? I don't know, as like a gap guy or, a stopgap solution. So I think I would lean Ridley just because I feel more confident about the quarterback situation there. And I love the way that deal was structured, Adam, because if the Jaguars play this thing right and they play this super smart, they could test him out in 2023, right? It's a prove it year if they want to do this the right way. Then before 2024, they can either re-sign him and then they have to give up a second round pick, or they could just let him go, right? And use him for the 1 year. Then they'll get back a third round compensatory pick, assuming Ridley has a pretty good year and he gets signed for a decent number. And given what Christian Kirk and Zay Jones made on the free agent market, I think we can assume there's going to be some interest in Calvin Ridley. And then they just have to give up a fifth round pick, I think, or a fourth round pick for him. So I feel like there's going to be a good opportunity for him to prove himself in Jacksonville. And I'll just go with the guy with the better quarterback for now.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Ken Walker going forward? Do you rate him higher or lower compared to last week?
Yeah, I'm still super high on Walker. I've been incredibly high on Walker since the start. Obviously, I saw the Giants Seahawks film just now, went over it, and Walker barely came off the field. Travis Homer got a few snaps here and there, but this is Walker's offense. And the Giants had a good game in the run defense. So I don't want to take that away from the Seahawks, but it allowed them to do a lot of things in the passing game with Geno Smith. That's not going to be the case every week. There's going to be games where Walker is the play there and is the guy who's kicking up a lot of yards. So they even used him in the passing game a little bit. So I love Kenneth Walker. He's one of my favorite players moving forward at the running back position.
He's fantastic. Looked like the Seahawks really game plan to keep Daniel Jones in the pocket. Did you see that? Is that what happened?
100% what they did. They said no matter what, we're not going to get beat by Barkley or Jones running the ball. And that fooled the Giants. They didn't really have a counter for that.
All right, we got a guillotine league question here. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and Fields are available. How much fab? How do you rank them rest of season? I have Dak Prescott.
Yeah, so my guillotine advice remains the same, Michael. I think we've done some guillotine questions. The way I play guillotine is I only use my fab on the following players, either top-end difference maker. So when Justin Jefferson hit, I used an insane amount of fab. Or, Jonathan Taylor, I took a swing there in one of my guillotines, and that didn't work out so far. Lamar strikes me as a potential difference maker of this group. The rest I don't see. And even Lamar, I'm souring on with the Bateman injury, which is the way that offense has trended. And with Lamar, quite frankly, I think he has the lowest EPA on targets 20-plus yards down the field or 30-plus yards. Yeah. Or the highest, not EPA. It was the highest off-target percentage. So he's not playing great football himself. So
I remember that. You got to credit Jacob Gibbs for that. But
I do have to credit Jacob Gibbs for that. There you go, Jacob Gibbs. Credit Jacob Gibbs.
That's right.
So for me, I don't see him fully as a difference maker. I would not. And it's not, you don't just have to go for
Dak.
this.
He obviously needs someone, right? Because Dak's on a bye.
Oh, because the bye week. Yeah. So I was going to say the second part of this, it's not that I only spend on those guys. The other guys I spend on are like the 9th, 10th, the 7th through 11th guys on the top of each waiver run, because those guys you can get for like the single digits. Those guys you can spend a very small amount of your budget and they're still potential starters. So I think Fields is the move here, right? You spend a little bit on Fields while others go for Lamar and Herbert.
Would you trade Miles Sanders for Mike Evans?
Wow. That's a really interesting question. Before the season, it was a lock. Now
I would do it.
You would trade Sanders?
Yeah. I mean, I would.
I think I still would. I still think there's so much upside for Evans, and at some point they got to figure that out. Tampa Bay.
Look, let me tell you right now, actually, Miles Sanders. Where do you think he ranks in PPR per game?
Oh, PPR. I mean, he scored almost every game, so he's got to be pretty far up there. I would say RB 11.
18.
Oh, my God. Really?
11 catches.
I know he doesn't catch the ball, but with all those touchdowns, I thought maybe it would be higher.
He only has 5. It's not like he's scoring that much. Right? I mean, like Nick Chubb has 10, and Josh Jacobs has 6.
They've had a bye week, too. Yeah, I guess
they have had a bye week, but per game, he's 18. Miles Sanders is 18th in full PPR, 13th in non-PPR. Now, he should have a good game this week against the Texans. They're one of the worst run defenses in football, but he never gets 20 carries. He never does. So he's interesting. He's good. He kind of overachieves for the amount of touches he gets, but I would definitely trade Evans. Evans is just a beast. And yeah, I would trade for Evans. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sanders for Evans, but Sanders is obviously good. Is it time to sell high on Jerry Jeudy?
I don't think so. I think Jacob Gibbs on the Monday show now to shout him out because he didn't get the first time. Wow. he made a good point about just the career numbers, but both of those guys have run 500 routes with the Broncos, and Judy's numbers just totally tower over Sutton's. We had the preseason hype with Sutton. Oh, every time Russell Wilson rolls out, he looks for Sutton. He's throwing to him all camp, and that proved to be just the narrative that didn't No, he targeted him early in the year.
Targeted him a ton. I had over 70 yards in his first 5 games. This is a little. The problem I have with this Gibbs stat about Jeudy being so much better than Sutton is that he didn't have Russell Wilson. He just seemed like Sutton seemed like a perfect fit with Russell Wilson. I don't mind if you take Jeudy over Sutton now. I mean, obviously, the stat is good. It does tell me something about the two players, but doesn't tell me everything because Sutton with Drew Lock is very different than Sutton with Russell Wilson. So, is it time? I don't think it's necessarily time to sell.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to sell high at all.
Very good.
Yeah, he's a great player, and he's starting to build a rapport with Russ.
Yeah. Is Hawkinson better or worse off in Dynasty after today's trade?
That's a great question, too. And I think he's much better off after today's trade. I think he's got the big quarterback upgrade going there now. I think also they'll use him less to block because this is not a team that likes to run under Kevin O'Connell. They don't run that much at all. They really want to pass the ball. So more pass volume and a better quarterback. It's definitely better to me, Dynasty was.
Okay, I'm trying to see. Well, it looks like Adam Thielen's under contract for a while, but I'm not sure how much longer.
Get out of it, though. Where's the dead cap situation?
Dead cap is $13.5 million.
Okay. Wow, that's high.
Mm-hmm.
They pushed a lot of it back. Yeah, they've had to push a lot of their contracts back because of the Cousins situation. So they're really dipping into the future with a lot of these types of guys. It's going to haunt them at some point. Thielen's probably the first time that's going to haunt the Vikings.
Would you trade Gus Edwards for Khalil Herbert in a standard scoring league?
So look, all the fantasy managers in the world today who have Khalil Herbert on their roster put their hands together in a prayer circle and were praying David Montgomery would get dealt. I don't really understand why the Bears didn't deal him based on the contract situation and where they're at as a football team, but for some reason they didn't. So that hurts his value, Herbert, even though he's clearly the better runner. I think I saw a stat today that he has more yards after contact per attempt than David Montgomery's total yards per carry. So I think it was 4.0 versus 3.9. Yeah. So he's clearly the more effective back there, but that doesn't mean he's going to play more. I would still do the trade, though, because I'm looking for league-winning upside when I play fantasy football, and I think Khalil Herbert has a much better chance at winning you your league down the stretch than Gus Edwards, because no matter what injury situation plays out in Baltimore, and Gus Edwards, by the way, is already hurt and might not play this week, but no matter how it plays out, I don't see kind of a workhorse role. But if David Montgomery gets hurt, which he has in the past, Khalil Herbert is going to be a top, easy RB1 every week for us.
Okay, some other players that we're prioritizing on waivers this week. I got some claims in for Josh Palmer. I got a claim in for Josh Reynolds. It's a little bit of a desperation thing here, but
that's desperate.
Yeah, I mean it is, but he gets a lot of targets. He leads the team in red zone targets. He leads the team in green zone targets, and Hawkinson's gone. So I think that certainly benefits him. Sure. Yeah, but I would say that's deeper leagues, but he's actually rostered in a lot of leagues. Palmer I prefer over him. Same. I have a claim in for Pickens in a 10-team league, but he's like 85% owned. Isaiah Likely, I have some claims in. I have a league with Mark Andrews, and I'm gonna make Caleb Huntley and Isaiah Likely, because I need a running back this week, my top 2 priorities there. And so Likely, you should look at him for certainly. All right, I don't know if there's any other.
Yeah, a few others
forever today.
Well, I want to throw in a few others that I think you should definitely keep an eye on. Keeping on running back for a second, got to get Deion Jackson on your roster now that the Colts traded Nyheim Hines. I think that, look, Jonathan Taylor is already dealing with an injury. That's not a good sign. And if he re-injures that, which can easily be done, compensation injury or just the same injury, Deion Jackson's already proven from the one game where Nyheim Hines got knocked out early in the game that he can carry a full workload and will. I mean, he had a really big game. I think it was week 6. He had 10 receptions, 79 yards, 10 targets. So I like him a lot as somebody you can scoop up cheap now, probably on the waiver, given the other guys. And I think at quarterback, man, if you have Justin Fields sitting on your waiver in your league, you got to take Justin Fields. He's added a free 5.5 points just with rushing yards on average over the last 3 games. He is now a run-first quarterback. This is the Konami code, guys. These are cheat codes. They're designing runs for him on a weekly basis. He beats, if you throw man coverage at him, he just takes it and runs for 12 yards. So Justin Fields is like one of my bigger priorities this week. And then probably one more guy I'll throw in just looking through them. this was one we've talked about a bunch, Adam, but if Rondell Moore is out there, he's still my priority number 1 for this week. And one other guy who might have been dropped in your leagues that I think you should look to prioritize is Devin Duvernay on the Ravens.
I got a few of those.
Yeah,
I got a few of those.
Because Bateman now dealing with the same injury. It's another midfoot injury, re-injured it. This could end up being really lingering. I mean, he was injured a lot in Minnesota. That was part of the reason he fell in the draft. So I just feel like this could be a good opportunity to scoop up Devin Duvernay.
For the deeper leagues, I think Terrace Marshall is at least interesting.
Yes.
They have Atlanta next week, not this week, but he just had a good game against Atlanta. He had 3 end zone targets. That's about it. I have a couple of Julio Jones claims in, very modest expectations there.
Dulcich and not likely. We already went over Dulcich and Evan Ingram for sure. We mentioned that on Monday's podcast, but I just want to reiterate those. If you need tight end help, I like both of those guys.
Okay. All right. Now on to bigger things here. You shamed Thomas into making a new.
Oh no, I feel bad. He all caps hated us. I feel bad, Thomas. Thomas is the man. So I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't hold this against me. But look, if you're gonna put 3 unreal elite options in there, don't throw pasta in there. Pasta,
it's kind of true. It's kind of true. Yeah.
Pasta, the only good pasta is from homemade places.
Different types of pasta.
Okay, but
there's vegetable pasta if you want to be. It's actually pretty good if you've ever had it.
It's not good.
No, you don't think so?
It's mediocre at best. It's nowhere near the level of a taco or a burger or a pizza.
But if you wanted something light, all that stuff was heavy, so I gave a light option.
I see what you're saying. I mean,
if you don't want to, be gluttonous about it, yeah, pasta is light.
So you eating plain noodles? That sounds terrible. What's on the pasta?
I mean, I had ravioli tonight. Does that count as pasta? That's pasta.
And did you not put any sauce or cheese on it? You didn't put any parm or sauce on it?
We had an incredible sauce that my wife made. She made meatballs and she put so we basically meatballs mostly done, but the meat sauce was delicious.
Wait, what'd you say about the meatballs before that?
Meatballs were mostly eaten, but we still had a lot of sauce left.
Did she make it from scratch?
Yeah, we had ground pork. She made ground pork.
Wow.
No, she didn't make the sauce from scratch. You have Rayo's? You ever eat Rayo's sauce?
Rayo's is actually really good for canned sauce.
Rayo's is a game changer.
If you're going canned sauce, you should go Rayo's. Yes,
by far it is a meal changer.
Please sponsor us for that kind of praise, please, Rayo's.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to. So wait, we have a new poll here.
Okay, what did he add in now, Thomas? I like the idea, Thomas. You were on the right path. You just for some reason threw pasta.
You like that? I mean, here's the problem. This one is going to be a runaway. It's going to be a runaway.
Runaway. Thomas is losing his touch on his
fast food chicken nuggets.
Oh my God, this should be. Wait, don't tell me Chick-fil-A is one of the options.
It is.
Come on, Thomas, dude, Thomas.
It's gonna win.
You're off tonight, Thomas. I mean, this one should be pulled down immediately. It's such a bad poll.
I mean, it's a landslide right now with Chick-fil-A. Come on.
Of course.
I voted for McDonald's, and McDonald's is 34%. It's pulling in there. It's close.
Chick-fil-A is so much better than any. Chick-fil-A is the only one of these that use real chicken.
Chick-fil-A, I don't care. Chick-fil-A is.
What do you mean I don't care? You taste the difference with the real quality meat. All these others are using the pink goo. Come on. Have you seen the pink goo videos? I don't want to kill another sponsor.
I don't want to hear about the pink goo.
You don't want to see those videos, but Chick-fil-A is real chicken. It's obviously Chick-fil-A.
We got one more thing here, right?
Okay.
All right. So listen, I've been a really gluttonous, disgusting pig the last 2 days. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna eat one more piece of Halloween candy. I just had a s'more, by the way, before we came on.
What do you mean? You made a s'more with your kids out back or something?
No.
Okay.
My kid had a birthday party at school, and one of the parents put in these. Oh no, I guess it was a Halloween party. Put in these s'mores, but they weren't cooked. They were just graham crackers, marshmallows, and chocolate. So my wife just toasted them, and we made s'mores.
Toasted them on what, Adam?
In the toaster.
Okay.
They were delicious. I don't have a backyard, so I'm not making a fire pit.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat one more piece of candy. I'm gonna let everyone decide. We got the peanut butter cup. It's a mini.
Classic.
We got the Hershey's.
Yep. I saw that tweet you had the other night, but you need to talk about that too. The how Hershey's underrated. That was a good tweet. It was a very good tweet.
And a Twix.
Yeah, Twix solid.
So Reese's, Hershey's, or Twix.
I know what my pick would be.
Anybody wants to submit their opinion, go for it. Did we talk about the Zach Moss trade yet?
We had not talked about the Zach Moss, or we talked about part of it. We didn't talk about Moss coming back.
Wait, before we get to that, I just want to read this. Based on Dan's nugget pasta take, I now
Oh my God. Dude, Michael, what are you talking about, dude? Like, okay, come on. Really? Chicken nuggets are not best from Chick-fil-A? This is the most obvious thing there is out there.
All right, so here's my quick take. Not really interested in Zach Moss. I agree with Dan. Deion Jackson, more valuable and somebody you want to have, especially with Jonathan Taylor and this lingering ankle injury. Hines is interesting. I think he's going to be almost exclusively a passing downs back. 2-3 carries a game, 4 catches. I don't think you're going to get much from him, honestly. But in a PPR league, if you're desperate, he could be the same. He could be the same that he was before, No, I don't know. Stop lying, Adam. You're going to wreck all 3 of them. That's very possible.
You're definitely eating all 3 pieces of that candy. Everyone knows. Limit
a
yourself.
A lot of peanut butter cup votes here.
And just stare. Of course, peanut butter cup's the obvious pick there.
Cutting car.
Thomas is probably like pick pasta or something.
Would you cut Carr for Fields?
Yes, I would actually. 100%, Joseph.
Yeah, you can. Let's see. Should I try to trade Pittman or Sutton for? Yes. I don't think I'm going to do that.
Oh yeah, Mon-Fri had a really nice first game back. It didn't show up in the stat sheets, but it was good on film.
I was thinking, would you trade AJ Brown for Amon-Ra St. Brown in PPR?
I don't think I would, but I can understand the idea behind it in full PPR. I just feel like the boom weeks for Brown are so worth having on your roster.
Any thoughts on Joe Mixon getting from? Yep.
Oh, Adam's boy. I mean, I got to tell you, watching that game last night, Adam, I don't know. I guess he had that decent stretch or whatever a few weeks back, but he looks so bad. Just pure eye test. He doesn't. He runs right into his blockers.
Yeah.
He doesn't create anything after contact. He doesn't create force missed tackles. I don't know what happened to Joe Mixon. He's just not good anymore.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I don't know.
If you go and look at his metrics, he hasn't been good on paper for most of his career. So I ignored that because I thought he's never had a PFF, an offensive line that's graded higher than 22nd or something like that, run blocking. Sorry. Right. In the Joe Mixon era, the Bengals, I don't think they've ever ranked higher than 20th or 22nd in run blocking. So I thought that was the main reason why he's been such an inefficient rusher in his career, except for like 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
They're worse this year. I mean, they're like 20 or something this year. So
I don't know what happened to that O-line either.
I'm not smart enough to know if it's Mixon or if it's the line or whatever. He should be better than this. There's no question. I'm pretty much giving up hope of him being, great. But at the same time, he still catches a lot of passes and is still a must-start guy, even as a number 2 running back. So it is frustrating. Wouldn't be a first-round pick if we were redrafting today. The Jamar Chase injury, I think, is bad for him.
Yep, 100%. Bad for the whole offense.
Yeah, and it sucks. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, look, keep in mind, the Browns have one of the worst run defenses in football.
Yeah, that was the problem. The matchup should have been great for him.
Want to hear a great stat?
Yeah.
I told 3 people this, and they had varying degrees of
intrigue.
Yeah. Jordan Davis, he's out, I don't know, let's call it a month for the Eagles. He's their rookie defensive tackle. Running backs are averaging 3.46 yards per carry against the Eagles with Jordan Davis on the field. 3.46 with him on the field. 6.1 with him off the field.
That's incredible. Did it say how many snaps he's played?
He plays about 35% of the
snaps. That was a big thing coming out of Georgia. He didn't play that many snaps for the Georgia defense. That's why people said you shouldn't use an early pick. But clearly, as Adam showed, he's making the impact the Eagles thought. I mean, this is like a 300 with 220. So it's kind of crazy.
You kind of like skipped there like a remix when you were saying that. He's like 300 what?
He's like a 350-pound human being who moves like he's 220. But it's true. That is crazy, and that stat is unbelievable. So that's a good sign for if you have matchups against the Eagles run D.
Dameon Pierce this week. I mean, I think it's a pretty interesting matchup because you worry about them getting blown out. What would that mean for Dameon Pierce? But
true.
I haven't really been a good run defense this year, especially with him off the field. I don't remember this line. Twix is the only candy with the cookie crunch.
That's from the candy bar lineup with George Costanza at the car garage, at the shop garage, the car shop. Remember the garage where he puts the guy through? You don't remember?
I like Seinfeld, but I'm gonna say I don't get ever excited to watch Seinfeld. I think I think it's overrated. I hate to say that, but I think it's overrated.
Right, now that's worse than any of my polls tonight.
That's worse than any take that's ever been said.
I
in
get
FFT
its place in history, and it was
Adam
a great
Azer
show
said,
at the time,
just so we can cement this
I
in
don't
for
mean
future
that.
reference. He said,
Take it
I
off the
think
record.
it's overrated.
Off the
I
record.
think Seinfeld is overrated. Adam Azer.
Would you trade Ken Walker for Mike Evans? No. I'd trade it Miles Sanders, but not Ken Walker for Mike Evans.
Agreed.
This Adams, Edwards, and Herbert for St. Brown and Jonathan Taylor, full PPR.
Adams,
That's
Gus.
Khalil, I'm guessing.
Yes. Or is that Justin Herbert? Because he's not getting back a quarterback. So let's say it's Khalil. Oh yeah, I think this is like the biggest slam dunk ever. You get St. Brown and Jonathan Taylor out of this.
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah,
so do that right now before he takes it back.
Cut Damian Harris for Deontay Foreman.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I would. Who would you trade Ayuk for? Should I even trade him? Yeah, you should trade him.
Yeah, you should trade him because obviously there's going to be a lot of inconsistency with all those skill guys minus McCaffrey. But as Adam and I always say, these are the toughest questions. Adam, which one are you opening, by the way? Which piece of candy did you just go for?
Buttercup.
Buttercup? Yeah, that's the best one. I mean, Reese's was obviously the move. Yeah.
Not a Buttercup.
No, you said Reese's. You already said Reese's, and then I thought you said peanut, and so I said Buttercup.
Can we ask everybody with the ridiculous question you asked us this evening?
Can I remind everyone that you just said Seinfeld is overrated?
I'm taking it back.
You're not. I hope you do it. At least you decided to take it back. What's the ridiculous question?
At like 7:25 p.m. Eastern, Dan texted me and said, 8 o'clock tonight? Like,
no, it was confirmation text.
Every week it's 8 o'clock. Why?
This is like that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode with Richard Lewis. Richard Lewis wants confirmation. If you make a plan, confirm the plan. Everybody wants I'm a confirmation kind.
He's wrong about that, by the way. Yeah, you should trade Ayuk. I would. Oh man, I don't know. Could you trade him for Devontae Smith coming off that dud?
Oh, I like that move for Devontae Smith. I like that a lot.
Would you rather have Pittman or Sutton rest of season?
Ugh. Sutton slightly. That Ellinger offense to me looks like it could be very ugly.
Go with the Twix. It's fine. You know what? You're right. I should go with the Twix. I'm going to go with the Twix right now.
Oh, yeah. As predicted, Adam did not just have one piece of candy. What's your count at tonight? You had a s'mores, a Reese's. You're starting to.
I've had like 8 pieces of candy today. Yeah. It's just awful. I'm
having yourself a day.
Yeah, and yesterday was even worse. Would you trade Jamal Williams for Juju in half PPR?
Jamal for Juju. I would make this trade. I'm a big fan of Juju in the second half. I read a great article about him just talking about the intricacies of playing that wide receiver position within a Chiefs offense, which is a little bit more complicated in Andy Reid's system. It was different than what he played in with the Steelers. And just talking about how it took a little time to build that rapport with Mahomes, but now he's starting to build that rapport, and we're seeing it. He's starting to target him more in the intermediate range, more downfield, which wasn't happening early seasons. So I actually like Juju as one of my favorite buy players in general right now. I'd be throwing out offers for Juju in other leagues.
Okay. With them trading Jeff Wilson, should we pick up Tyrion Davis-Price? No, because Elijah Mitchell's got to be back pretty soon.
Yep. That's why they did it. They probably have a good feel on Mitchell coming back.
You know what I got with this, buddy? I got the nice caramel throat burn. Feels good.
You're quite clearly allergic to caramel.
Should I play?
I called it caramel that time. I'm trying to get in the good graces. Look, you got to call it caramel. I get it, but
that's what it is. Yeah.
Not really, but go on.
Should I play Deontay Foreman over Jonathan Taylor in non-PPR?
I wouldn't, personally. I just never benching Jonathan Taylor. This is how I play fantasy. I don't bench my studs very often unless the matchup is so clear, and that's not an example of it for me.
Would you trade Kelsey for Hopkins and Foreman?
No, I would not, though I do think Hopkins is making a case to be one of these Kelsey-type weekly difference makers. I still think Kelsey gives you so much of an advantage, positional advantage at tight end, especially this year with – it's not even especially, it's every year with these bottom tight end, the tight end being such a bottom-out position where half the league is starting 2 to 5 pointers a week. You want to get your 12 to 15 with Kelsey. So I just think Kelsey gives you more of an advantage on a weekly basis.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that Deontay Foreman might be a sell high based on some of these questions.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, maybe they just give him the lead role rest of season. But one thing I'm very confident in is he's not going to be the passing downs guy. When Chuba Hubbard's healthy, that's going to be Chuba Hubbard.
Yes.
And then you could be looking at a better version of Brian Robinson. on a team that's not going to be good. I really don't think they're going to be good. And if they're trailing, if they can't run the ball a lot, then you could have 14 carries and no catches from Deontay Foreman. So I'm going to bring it up on the show tomorrow as a sell high.
I like that. Yeah.
Let's see. Thoughts on Darren Waller rest of season?
Waller's been so frustrating. Assuming he's healthy is part of the comment from Josh Ua. And I would just say this. If you've had a chance to look at any of Derek Carr's film this year, it is so freaking ugly. I don't know what happened to Carr. He's regressed in so many ways. I really, truly think it's just he was comfortable in that Gruden system, and now he's just not comfortable in McDaniel's system. And we knew going in, we talked about how bad that offensive line could be, and then we just threw it out there. And we're like, all right, he's got all these weapons. We're going to like him. And now that passing offense is pretty bad. They were awful last week against the Saints. They're just getting pressure with 4-man rushes every single play. Drop 7, rush 4, pressure. So I wouldn't buy into the Raiders pass game right now would be my takeaway there.
Yeah, I still think you're talking like a top 7, 8 tight end, but not top 5.
Yeah.
You guys never criticized Derrick Henry for not having pass catching work. Well, he has some actually. And he gets 30 carries, and he's arguably the best running back in football. So he's above. I think he's the best running back in football.
Better than Saquon?
Yes. Here's the thing. I think there are probably 5 running backs that you could argue that are the best, but only one of them can handle 28, 29, 30 carries a game. Only one of them can carry a team the way he has. Okay. I think that just puts him over the edge. Nobody can do what Derrick Henry does. And I know he's not as versatile as McCaffrey and Barkley, and he's, maybe not quite as explosive as Nick Chubb, but yeah, he's the best running back to me.
It's a good point though, because you're right. It's the only guy you can look at with the track record of getting 27 plus or whatever it is, like on such a weekly basis for the most part.
Grade the trade: Goddard for Keenan Allen. I have Dalton Schultz, Waddle, Higgins, and DJ.
I love this trade for you, P-Dubs. Look, man, you're buying low on Keenan Allen. He's going to get healthy at some point. He's still going to be that third down solution for Justin Herbert, as he always has been. And you have Dalton Schultz, who's looking pretty good right now. So you're not losing too much from Goddard to Schultz, and you're gaining a potential league-winning piece in Keenan Allen. So this is a perfect trade to me. I'll give it an A.
Okay, I ate all 3 piees of candy.
Of course. We should have put odds on that. It would have started like minus 490 that Adam was going to eat one of these pieces of chocolate.
Then I would have bet it, and I wouldn't have done it. The Hershey's is better than the Twix. I gotta say, Hershey's.
You're a huge Hershey's guy. Have you had Hershey's cookies and cream?
No, I don't need. Just leave it alone. All right, this guy wants to give me Russell Wilson and Drake London for Jerry Jeudy. Yes or no?
Russell Wilson and Drake London for Jerry Jeudy. I would say no. Yeah. Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
All right, with this style of play, Panthers are reminding me of last year's Titans. Strong D, ground and pound offense, alpha number 1 receiver. I get it, but the Titans are 2-6. The Panthers are 2-6 or something, right?
Right.
They just traded McCaffrey. They're starting PJ Walker. The Titans win the division, every year.
It's not the same. Not to mention, before he got injured, Chuba Hubbard was actually operating in the 1 role there.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt.
100%.
It's that's still a possibility when he's healthy.
Yeah. So if you want to keep Foreman, that's fine. I think based on the way people are acting, I think that there's a sell high window here. I think people are overvaluing him. Would you trade Justin Jefferson for Keenan Allen? And no way.
No shot.
How can you have any faith in Keenan Allen right now? I have faith in him. I'm fine buying low on him, but it's got to be
low
for him or
what we just saw. I think was a good example, right? Dallas Goedert's fine. What we saw, Dallas Goedert, yeah.
Justin Jefferson, even if you're getting Ayuk back, I can't do that.
Do you have Justin Jefferson on your roster? The answer is going to be almost no to any trade you're offered for him. That's just my take on it. And that goes for Jefferson, Barkley, a few more of these players that I just think are core guys you don't move. Kelsey.
Look at this. Hey, Candyman, just saw you side profile. You look 5 years older. That is all. Do I look older when I side profile?
Oh, Candyman is you. No, I don't really see any difference. just saw your side profile. This is a creepy comment, Ramon Ray. I don't even
Yeah,
know what's going on
that's
here.
pretty messed up. By the way, they're not 2-0 since the McCaffrey trade. They lost to the Falcons. It was DJ Moore's fault. It was your wide receiver one's fault for taking his stupid helmet off. Okay. Let's see. Wan'Dale Robinson and Donovan Peoples-Jones droppable for a defense and a kicker. Both on that.
It's close. I would always just drop the defense and the kicker you have rostered. Wan'Dale, they took him out of the game last week. They double teamed him more than I've seen a Giants receiver double team this whole season, which was weird to see. The Seahawks had a good game plan. They looked at last week and they said Wan'Dale was getting the ball so often. Let's take him away and see if any of the other receivers can do anything. That's not going to happen every week, though. Peoples-Jones, the upside is once Deshaun Watson comes back for your playoff run, he could be a really nice piece for you as a flex. So I just wouldn't drop either of those players. I'd drop the defense or the kicker.
Yeah, I would rather drop my defense or my kicker. If it's the 49ers defense, I'm not sure.
By the way, what show or movie is that Avatar?
I'm trying to put the baseball game on. Sorry about that. I didn't realize how loud it was going to be.
That's okay.
I'm trying to watch sports.
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to be training.
The chip shot. No, you're right. He did not miss the chip shot field goal in overtime. That was bad. But the extra point was not a chip shot. Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. 3-0 Phillies. Wow. Would you trade
What's
Michael?
your take on this, Adam? I have a good friend of mine who anytime you sneeze, he never says bless you. And now look, right? Like he goes into his whole tirade about like how this makes no sense. God bless you. What does it mean? It makes no sense. I'm just like, dude, it's just like a common thing to do. Like, you don't have to worry about. Yeah, you don't have to worry about what it means. Like
this is his thing. This is his thing. Tell him he needs a better thing.
Okay.
Okay. Isn't it like something to do with like your heart stopping or something?
Yes, that's why originally like they thought like when you sneeze you could die or something. It's like God bless you. So
is that right?
Whatever though. Don't worry about that type of thing. It's a common courtesy. You're supposed to say it. He doesn't say it. It's incredibly frustrating. I find it like super offensive and just like acknowledge it. Like it's just like please and thank you. Just give a quick God bless you.
There's actually a Seinfeld about that if you remember.
Is there? I actually don't remember that.
I don't say God bless you, by the way. I just say bless you.
Yeah, just bless you's fine.
I leave the higher power out of this. It's not. It's me blessing you. You know. Yeah.
I agree with that, and fine with just a bless you. Just some kind of like acknowledgement.
Would you trade Pittman for Montgomery or Khalil Herbert?
Pittman for Montgomery or Khalil Herbert? No, I wouldn't.
Okay. Is Evan McPherson droppable?
Yes.
He's been so bad the last, I think, 3 weeks. All they've done is score
classic kicker. Classic kicker, right? So hyped last year.
No, he's a great kicker.
I mean, he's got great talent, but like all these kickers, dude, it's all mental. Like they just go through these patches where they're awful. And like a lot of great kickers throughout history, last decade or so, have been cut and reclaimed by teams and then got good again and then they're bad again. They're cut. It's like such a mental game with these kickers.
Is he missing a lot lately?
What did you say?
Is he missing a lot lately?
He missed this game against the Browns early in the game.
Yeah, I know. He had a bad game. He missed an extra point and a field goal.
Yeah.
But before that wasn't the problem. The problem was their offense was so explosive, they haven't been kicking any field goals. Right. He's got 3 field goal attempts in his last 4 games.
Wow.
So is he droppable? I don't really think so, because he still, I think, is one of the best kickers. He's missed 2 field goals this year.
And an extra point. How many extra points?
2.
That's not great.
No, that's not great. But let's see what he is from like 40 yards. This is really interesting stuff, huh? McPherson from 50 plus yards, he's 4 of 4. So
kicker premium league. This is great content if you're in a kicker premium league.
Half PPR. Would you trade Jefferson and Swift for Ken Walker and ETN?
Gets a little interesting because I love Walker and I love ETN, but I still wouldn't do it. Yeah, I still wouldn't do this trade.
You wouldn't do this trade?
No, I still wouldn't do this trade.
You know what I would do if I were you? I would turn around and see if you could trade Walker or ETN for like Tyreek Hill.
Ooh, that I like. See, yeah, Walker should have command more value right now.
If you could do that, then make the trade knowing that you're gonna get Walker or ETN and Tyreek Hill, or like I don't know if there's another receiver like Cup, Tyreek. Who else is in the Jefferson tier?
Cup, Tyreek, Jefferson. That's about it. Yeah.
Chase was there, obviously, but
Amon-Ra was there at the beginning, but he's hurt.
oh, Diggs. I'm sorry, definitely Diggs.
Yeah, of course, Diggs. Wow.
So Tyreek Hill's the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy, not per game, but number 1 overall. He's guess who's number 1? Tyreek Hill is number 4 per game. Guess who's number 1? PPR
per game.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a classic Azer trick question where it's going to be like some stupid guy who's played like 1 game. Is this an Azer trick, or is this something that?
Is that a home run? Wow. 4-0. It's DeAndre Hopkins. He's played 2 games.
Okay. Yeah. It is an Azer trick. Classic Azer trick.
Classic.
Who just hit a home run? The Phillies?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just openly rooting like hard for the Phillies?
Yeah. Would you drop? No, I wouldn't say that. Would you drop Russell Wilson for Justin Fields?
Yes, 100%. Without a doubt in my mind.
Okay. Should I drop Paris Campbell for Deion Jack? Yes. Absolutely.
Yep, definitely.
Should I trade Taylor for Stevenson?
Jonathan Taylor for Ramondre Stevenson? Is that what this could be?
Yep.
No, do not do that deal.
Should I trade Mike Evans and Miles Sanders for Jonathan Taylor? No.
That's interesting, but I still no. I just don't trust that Colts offense.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Should I drop Graham Gano?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, look, you can drop Gano.
Yes.
Any kicker, I would say yes to. Sorry.
Yes, you should drop him.
Don't stash kickers.
Jerry got in trouble by saying "God bless you" to a woman, and her boyfriend got mad. Is that true?
I don't remember that. Jerry got in trouble by saying "God bless." I don't remember that one for some reason.
This could not possibly be true. This could not possibly be true. Did you really? That's all. I hope that's true. That is really awesome.
Ramon Ray.
Wow. Ramon Ray St. Brown right there.
Ray Ramon.
All right. Let's see. I'm looking for some questions here. Yeah. Well, he's gonna defend.
That's not.
He's gonna defend this. Yeah,
I don't cut my sandwiches horizontally.
Oh, you diagonal?
Well, as I said before, I don't really eat white bread sandwiches. You want to give me a Seminola bread? You want to give me a ciabatta, something that actually tastes good? I don't eat this crappy like out of a package like Wonder Bread type white breads. I don't make sandwiches with that. Okay?
I eat wheat bread, buddy. I'm trying to be healthy here.
It's not healthy. Take a look at the back of that. Wheat is a fake thing. It's probably the same kind of fake bread.
Oh, please. Dan is overvaluing Jonathan Taylor at this point in the season.
That could be true, sir. I understand. I am looking for league winners, as I've said. And at this point, it's hard to view him as that, given the Colts offense and the trajectory of that offense. O-line's not what it was. Probably not going to get back there. Passing game's dead. But, I mean, some of these offers, like we're talking about Ramondre Stevenson for Taylor, I still think you have more league-winning upside with Taylor. So I can't get myself to do it.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of talk about trading Travis Kelce, and I just got to tell you, if you think Kadarius Toney is the reason why you should trade Kelce, I'm sorry. He's not. Nobody's taken away from Travis Kelce.
Kadarius Toney will be lucky to be on the field for half the games remaining. He's played 12 of 24 games in his career.
I definitely didn't mean to click this.
Wow, look at this. Thank you, Alwyn. Thank you. Keep that one up. Throw that back up.
Prioritize these guys for waivers. Yeah, that's a great question.
Palmer 1 for sure.
Okay.
Easy
Dobbs
1.
2.
Dobbs 2, MVS 3. Yep.
I mean, Dobbs as the number 1 against Detroit this week is interesting. If Lazard is out, we don't know if he will be. But Palmer against the Falcons was the worst pass defense. So the Falcons did just acquire a corner. Who did they acquire again? Why am I forgetting? What was the Falcons?
Benton.
Yeah, Rashad Fenton. That's right. Would you drop Pacheco for Deion Jackson? It's a stash.
Ooh, no. I would not. I'd rather stash Pacheco.
If Gus Edwards plays, we should start him or Foreman?
Gus, if he plays and he's fully cleared.
I'm going to go Foreman because I do not trust the workload at all for Gus Edwards.
It's fair.
And I think they have a bye next week. So
yeah, they might not even play him if they've, but yeah.
So I just I'm sorry. After what we saw on Thursday, what we saw all year from Dobbins, I just don't trust them. All right. Let's see. Drop one of these. Keep one, drop one. Chase Edmonds, Melvin. Well, they just said Melvin Gordon's a starting running back, so stick with him.
I guess. They've been so wishy-washy with that.
All
Thank
right,
you, cousin.
I guess this includes Dan. All right. I can would you give up Kamara for Diggs? I have no wide receiver.
Yes. Snap deal. This is the perfect time to do it.
Look, would you see what Kamara is doing lately?
I said it's the perfect time to do it after that 3-touchdown game from Kamara. Get it going, baby. Get
Even
Diggs.
before, I mean, look, I would take Diggs too, but I mean, this is 23.4, 18.4, 17.5, 42.8 PPR fantasy points in his last 4 games. He has 6 more catches in 4 straight games.
It's impressive, but I still take Diggs.
All right, snap you. Hines, right? You got to go Hines. Like James Cook has 5 catches this year.
Right. What a waste of a 2nd-round pick by the Bills.
Drop 1. Fields, Goff, Garoppolo.
Fields, Goff, Garoppolo. Definitely not Fields. Goff for me.
Gano or Butker?
Butker, I guess. I don't. If you think we can predict kickers rest of the season, then we should have some. We should get like a Nobel piece. If I could predict kickers for the rest of the year, Adam, that would be the most incredible thing ever.
I think Gano is
Gano's a better kicker than Butker.
He's like the 4th or 5th best player on the Giants. Right? Who's better?
I don't know about that.
Andrew Thomas is better. Saquon Barkley is better.
Those for sure. Okay.
Xavier McKinney, Leonard Williams,
Dexter Lawrence, Xavier McKinney for sure.
So he's the 6th.
Adoree Jackson.
Oh, Adoree Jackson. Tell that to Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett ate his lunch twice.
Got beat on a double move.
Twice.
Okay. The second one wasn't a double move.
He dropped it. Right. He just ran right by him. Graham Gano is the whole reason why the Giants can exist, because they can only get the ball to like the 30-yard line. So the 40-yard line, and Gano makes it okay.
They're 6-2, Adam. Enough of the hate.
All right. Would you trade Metcalf for Olave? Yes, I would.
I don't think so for me.
All right, I would. What about you, Schaefer? Would you trade Metcalf for Olave?
Tomas? Come on,
you're not even in the stream.
I thought you popped me up. I'd rather have Olave.
There you go.
What do you guys think?
You big Napoleon Dynamite guy?
What?
Why?
Oh yeah, I love
Uncle Rico.
Yeah, Uncle Rico. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, for the Don Draper
throw
avatar.
football over those mountains.
Yep.
Back in '82.
I hate that movie, by the way. I can't say
I don't hate it, but I mean that's.
I guess I don't hate it. It's not as good as Seinfeld, but it's
don't ever say that word again, Seinfeld, after what you did earlier.
All right. Let's see. Are we flexing Devin Singletary this week against the Jets?
Full PPR? No, in full PPR for me.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have at this point, Herbert or Montgomery?
Herbert. More upside.
Okay. Aaron Jones or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a tough one. I'm going to go Aaron Jones. I like what I've seen in recent weeks with the Packers scheming the offense around Jones to be the focal point. That is enough for me to get behind Jones.
Okay. Is it time to dump A.J. Dillon?
Yes.
Yeah, look, I have no problem with it.
Passed. Yeah.
Two things. They got the Lions this week, and that is a really low selling point. I don't trust him against anyone. And I do think he's still one of the top handcuffs. So, like, if you're going to keep Alexander Mattison, you should keep A.J. Dillon. Right. The other thing is that there are 6 teams on bye. But if you don't need A.J. Dillon, then I think, you can dump him. Should I put Josh Kelly on my IR spot when Cordarrelle's back, or just drop his butt?
You could drop him.
Drop his butt. Why not put him on IR? I mean, put him on IR.
You could use that a spot for another player on IR, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't see the upside, really.
Main guy from, actually, Thomas Schaefer taught me this. The main guy from Revenge of the Nerds plays the dad.
Yeah, Schaefer did tell us that.
What's the name of the show? Lizzie McGuire? Okay, look at this. Is who do I drop?
Okay. Let's see.
You drop
Ravens.
No.
What do you need the Ravens defense for?
because they're good.
Are they?
If you don't want to drop Gano, and then you drop Wandale Robinson. No, you drop Peoples-Jones or Gano.
Just go for the kicker defense as your drop, please. You won't regret it.
I mean, Gano's on a bye. The Ravens play.
That's fair. Yeah, you could get Gano back.
You
Fine.
just got Roquan Smith too. Like,
yeah,
I'm not giving. They're a good DST. Rest of season, Fields or Geno.
Ooh, I like that one, but I am still going Fields. And Geno's awesome, but I like Geno on Adam. You know what my take was? And people thought I was crazy when I said it. From what I've seen so far, and for those who don't know, I have a Giants podcast where we break down the film every week. We do like 2.5 hours of just film analysis. From what I've seen this year, the Giants have faced, do you know all the quarterbacks the Giants have faced? Lamar and Rodgers are the only two notable ones, basically.
Right.
Geno Smith was by far and away the best quarterback on tape the Giants have faced this year. That doesn't mean he's a better quarterback. I'm saying he's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson overall. Or it doesn't mean what I think is going to happen going forward. But just what I saw on tape, dude, he was light years ahead of both of those quarterbacks. He played. If you didn't know if you said that was Aaron Rodgers and you didn't know that was Geno Smith playing quarterback, you would have thought that was Mahomes or Rodgers or Allen.
Oh,
he's just dropping dime after dime.
So good. He was so good. They were so good. I think they're really creative offensively. I came away extremely impressed. Their defense is playing well. I'm actually picking up their DST in a few leagues. I said they're the fourth best team in the NFC, ahead of the Vikings, which Schaefer probably didn't like. Schaefer's a Vikings fan, but
I take them ahead of the Vikings.
Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, Vikings would be my top 5 in the NFC.
I would go Eagles, Cowboys, Seahawks, Niners. I really think they're going to be better than the Niners.
If the Niners played the Cowboys in the playoffs, they would totally beat the Cowboys.
Yes.
And you know why? Because as Zeke goes, we go. Out in the playoffs because you're playing the inferior back. If they would go to Tony Pollard, then they'd probably be better than the 49ers.
Definitely.
But Aaron Jones or Ken Walker, is that a rest of season thing? By the way, Charles, those birds are very pretty.
They are pretty birds by Charles and a good backdrop with the nice greeny leaves. But I'll go with Kenneth Walker rest of the season. More upside. It's close. I like what they've done with Jones. I just feel like Walker is a bit more upside. Okay,
I'll take Jones in PPR.
Yeah, PPR, that's a great point. If it's full PPR, you have to go Jones.
All right. Should I worry about? Yeah, you should worry about Singletary. Yeah.
Yeah.
His value is that he was catching a lot of passes. He's second on the team in catches.
And it's very surprising, I know.
Do you agree that Dulcich is going to be the next top 5 tight end?
I think there's a very good case.
This year or going forward? This year, I say no.
Going forward is what I would assume this meant, right?
Like in the future
yeah, like he's saying like the next guy that will be is like, that type. I think possible. So. I mean, he was my tight end 1 in this class over basically everyone in there. I just thought he does what the NFL is looking for, the ability to line up as the 1 in a 3-by-1 set with 3 receivers on the other side, Dulcich on one side, and just win one-on-one matchups, which is what he's done a lot of. He's won a ton of one-on-one matchups.
Yeah. Swift for Aaron Jones.
I would take Jones. Hell, I don't like injured backs.
Yeah, now Swift doesn't have a bye and Jones does. That's an advantage, but
still want Jones.
Yeah, I still take Jones. All right, I'm going to read a couple more. Would you trade Jonathan Taylor for Cordero Patterson and Michael Pittman?
No, I wouldn't.
No, me either.
Maybe overvalue as
Rondell Moore. You go Rondell Moore over Terrace.
Rondell for sure. Lock it in.
Are Curtis Samuel and Damian Harris droppable?
Yes and yes for me.
It's such an interesting question. It really depends on who's on your waiver wire. Like Harris is still like he got 11 carries last week. He's a good running back. He scores touchdowns. He's not a useless player. Samuel is still getting you around 10 PPR fantasy points. And if Curtis Samuel showed up on waivers, he'd be one of the main guys to pick up on waivers, you know? So I would probably rather have Rondell Moore. I think I'd still prefer Samuel to Chase Claypool.
Claypool for sure.
I'd go Palmer over Samuel if you didn't need Samuel. If you're like need Samuel rest of season, Palmer's probably going to be useless at some point. But I think he's in the same group as those guys, so he's not a must drop, but he is droppable. All right. Last question here. Let's make it a good question. Thoughts on Evan Ingram this week?
Yeah. I love it. I love him as a streamer. Look, he played 100% of the routes last week. That was the first time all season. This is solidified now, and he has had, I think, at least 40 yards in each of his last 4 games, which for a tight end is actually a good amount. So I like this move, Don Draper.
And do you think Justin Herbert may have been playing injured and will get better as the season progresses? So, yes, I definitely do, and that is mostly evident in the rushing totals. The guy does not leave the pocket, really. He does not run anymore because he had that rib injury. Is he healed now? I don't know. I'm hoping – look, you could use those extra 1.5 to 2.5 points per game with the rushing totals. I think he's good enough where you don't necessarily need a backup, but he's not going to have Mike Williams. And Keenan Allen didn't practice on Monday. I don't know what his status was today. Yeah. I don't think you need a backup for Justin Herbert. There aren't enough.
They're not getting back that star left tackle, Rashawn Slater, who they had. He's out for the year. That offensive line is very banged up.
I guess if Fields were available, I'd pick up Fields just to have him. But that's the only
backup
out there that I'm not picking up Mariota. I'm not picking up Heineken. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay. Good night. I got nothing. See you later. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Fantasy Football Today. Thanks a lot to Dan Schneider and Thomas Schaefer. And give me the pink goo all day.
Ugh.